and Nicola is going to give us keynote talk about the state of crypto in Europe. And lunch will be served at 1:15, and then the panels begin again at 3 o'clock. And there's going to be a demonstration workshop by Chainalysis as well, which is coincident with lunch, which will start in this auditorium around 2 o'clock. So that will be it. Nicola, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here. I'm Nicola Buonanno. I have the honor to lead the Southern Europe, Middle East, and Africa team for Chainalysis. I joined the company roughly a year ago. Before that, I spent all my career working for tech companies and software companies like Pivotal Software or Google Cloud. And it's a real pleasure to be here today. Just to give you, on a personal note, exactly 8 years now in this city, I proposed to my wife. So you can see there's a very big connection for me and Lisbon. And I'm very happy also to be here in one of the major crypto hubs of the world, and definitely for Europe, back on stage after the pandemic and everything that we have been through. Fell in the crypto rabbit hole almost 5 years ago, and I never left since then. Of course, unfortunately, I didn't buy enough 5 years ago, but that's another problem. It's my mistake. So a lot of things have been said already about crypto, about the regulations. I would like today to give you a slightly different perspective of what we see from our point of view, give you more insights of where we believe the market is going. We will share some information related about the crypto adoption and the geo reports that we release every year. And last but not least, of course, I would like to give you more information about Chainalysis, what we do, and why customers like to work with us. But first things first, of course, if you are here today, probably you know this very well, but crypto, blockchains in general are here to stay and are going to change and transform the way we live, the way we exchange information, the way we do business. Every company, it will become a crypto company. And it will be impossible to even think about our lives and our businesses before the crypto era. Just like the internet. Now I think that anybody of you hardly can live normal life, or regular life, or productive life without the internet. But yet, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there were a lot of people thinking about internet is just a trend. I don't believe that it's going to make any impact. It's just a bubble, it's a hype, or I disagree or rarely see how this might have a real impact on billions of people. Or there were people convinced that we were about to see the collapse of the internet. More in general, there were a general conviction that this was just a trend without any future. Surprisingly enough, I think that everybody of you heard about this, talking about the crypto industry. And of course, we all know that they were wrong. In fact, if we look at what happened in 2021, no one can deny that this was the year of the major mainstream adoption. We saw especially institutionals that started to invest into this space. We saw banks like Bank of New York Mellon, Goldman, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup. We saw services like Square, PayPal. Everybody started driving adoption, starting driving maturity in this business. And of course, we are in a bear market at the moment. And even this, despite all the volatility, it is an additional sign of stability. Crypto is just another asset class. In fact, if you see the correlation that there is between Bitcoin and all the major tech stocks, we see a nearly one-to-one correlation. Unfortunately, at the moment, of course, are trending down, but this is another sign of maturity. And, of course, regulations. A lot has been said about regulation. I won't go into details, but you can see that also regulation is transitioning from a regulation that was focusing mainly about money laundering, illicit finance, terrorist financing, and is now creating the right conditions for this industry to thrive. So focusing much more on prudential, focusing much more on financial stability, and making sure there are not market manipulations and abuses. And this is super important to create the right condition, the right ecosystem, the right guardrails for companies to start investing and innovating in this business. And we see the result of this. In 2021, these are the main trends. I won't go into details, but of course we saw a massive adoption about fintech and retailers with more than 70 million wallets, private wallets. We discussed about already the institutionals. Nearly 63% of all the trading value in 2021 came from institutionals. We saw, of course, the government starting to embracing these new technologies, starting to regulating, starting to implementing AML rules in 103 countries. But what really changed the scenario last year was about DeFi. DeFi, we saw a growth of 4-digit in last year with more than 250 billion of value locked. We saw the incredible adoption of NFTs. NFTs were nowhere a couple of years ago. Now they are already evolving. And we saw 27 billion of sales just in 2021, despite all the different issues that we saw. But it is very clear that we are at the verge of the smart contract revolution. And last but not least, of course, all the layer 2 and layer 2 protocols and stable coins with around 170 billion of value. But what is super important, and what's very clear, is that this is, as I said at the beginning of something much bigger. We are not only talking about crypto assets. Nowadays, it's very clear that the blockchain is going to become the operating system of everything. Any new idea, any new company, industry, or innovation will be somehow powered by the blockchain. That will become the backbone of this innovation. And in fact, the blockchain is driving new cases every day. On the right-hand side, we see the original use cases that we saw around the crypto assets related to trading, related to investments or payments, of course. Now, with thanks to blockchain, we are starting to see a different use cases and a way of using this technology with collectible, metaverse, gaming, passive income, Web3. Of course, this is just a small representation, and there's much more that can be done. As a result of this last 12 months or so, and all the new technologies and innovation, we are starting to see also very interesting trend that are happening in the industry. With Bitcoin, that is no longer dominant in this industry, in this space. Bitcoin last year was only nearly 10% of all the on-chain value. And that's because, of course, of the rising of the DeFi and Web3. Also, if we see the NFTs, we discussed already how important this was in 2021, but even in 2022, despite, of course, the bear market, we keep seeing this growing constantly and steadily. So it's clear that something is about to happen, and it's very important. It's changing, the shaping a new industry. And also, we noticed in 2021 how all the decentralized exchanges outpaced the centralized exchanges in terms of value. But Web3, of course, is all about a new way of creating value and distributing value, and is where we see an incredible potential. And of course, all this conference is all about this. And again, the blockchain is what is making this possible. Now, just as an illustration, as an example, as a simplification, we have a traditional business, a corporation, that every $100 of value created can distribute only 5% in terms of dividends. On the other side, we have a decentralized business that can contribute and then create value and share this value to 95% to all the participants. That is, of course, a revolution. This is, of course, a new way of thinking about value creation and distribution. Now, let's talk about the adoption and what we see on a geographical standpoint around this industry. As you probably know, Chainalysis is also famous for some important reports that we release every year, created by our research team. We just released a month ago, in October, the 2022 Global Crypto Adoption Index. Basically, we analyze 154 different countries around the world. We analyze the on-chain value received, the peer-to-peer trade volume, the retail volume. We shake all this, and we create an index that we use to understand where the market is going. Interesting, last year, actually in the last 12 months, these are pretty fresh data from September 2021, September 2022. Western Europe was by far the region #1 in the world in terms of adoption. And we see that Western Europe accounted for nearly 22% of all crypto activity around the world. Pretty impressive. And if we double click on the Western Europe data, we see where Portugal stands, which is also pretty remarkable if we consider that this is, of course, the absolute number. And you have to take into consideration the per capita. So Portugal is definitely a mighty country, market, and business in this space, with nearly 32 billion of value exchanged in the last 12 months. The other report that every year we prepare, this one was released in February 2022. We are preparing the new one that will be released soon, is about the crypto crime report. That, of course, this is an incredible opportunity, incredible revolution, but of course there are also risks that we need to take into account. We track all the illicit activities that are happening in this business, and we put in this very comprehensive report. Again, another sign of how this industry is absolutely legit is that in 2021, despite incredible adoption, only 0.15% of activities that happen in this space were illicit. Pretty incredible in terms of numbers. Pretty incredible if we think about the initial misconceptions that, like the initial of internet, that crypto is all about illicit, funny stuff. But of course, if we had a low level of illicit activities in terms of percentage, in absolute terms, because of the incredible adoption, last year was the biggest year in terms of value of illicit activities, with more than 14 billion of activities that were in these clusters, dominated, of course, by the stolen funds and scams, mainly, which means, of course, that it's very important to make sure that this industry will stay safe and can thrive, it can develop, to make sure that we have the right data, the right information, the right platform solutions, and also the right know-how and understanding how to keep ourselves safe and protect our customers. Again, that was for the 2021 information. This is a sneak peek of the new data that will be released in the next report, specifically for Portugal. And you can see these data also are pretty fresh. They are from September 2021 till the end of August 2022. Portugal is pretty aligned with what we see in Western Europe. Again, there is a big component coming from stolen funds, then especially in the DeFi as being a big problem lately. And we saw only in October this number going very up. So very important, again, to have the right partners to make sure that we can react timely when something happens, hoping that nothing will happen, of course. And also, because of the geopolitical instability, another important component was coming in from sanctions, with 31 million of sanction categories. Overall, in general, we tracked around 163 million of illicit activities in Portugal and 282 million of illicit activities in Portugal. So, but what do we do? How do we have this data? What is exactly that we can help for you, for your customer, and for this industry? Basically, we are a data platform. We are a data company, and we create solutions that can be used for a variety of different problems. I won't go into details of all these our solutions. There will be, after me, also a workshop that they will walk you through. If you're interested, please ask us. We'll stop and we can discuss and go into the details. But basically, we provide solutions for investigations, for enhanced due diligence, for transaction monitoring, of course, and compliance, for entity monitoring, and to have market insights of what is happening in a blockchain. All this is powered by our data. That is really what makes everything special. And this data, of course, can be accessed via API. Of course, it's not only about technology data. It's also about providing the right set of know-how and talents that can support you, that can help you, that can have your back, whatever might happen. So we also provide to our customers a team of investigators that can help you in react immediately if something happens. We have a service of incident response, so that immediately if something happens, a hack or something similar, they can trace the funds and help you in trying to seize these funds, but also can support you with data science work, with enhanced due diligence, and so on and so forth. All this, of course, cannot happen without a very robust academy, without making sure that we can provide all the right trainings and certifications for our customer to really make sure that everybody is up to speed, understands the risk, but also, of course, the opportunities of this industry. But why customers are working with us? Why do they think that Chainalysis is in a unique position to support them? Well, mainly for 4 different reasons. The first one is about the superior crypto data. You saw an example of what we have, what we do with our data, what we can do with our data, and I will give you more information later. The second point is about the very extended network that we have that goes from public sector to private sector and can really connect the dots and making sure that we can have a holistic approach to this industry. The third is that because we basically have invented the blockchain analytics, we have been in this industry since the very beginning, since 2014. We are the only company that has partnered with everybody, with all the main stakeholders in this industry, behind all the largest hacks and cases that happened. And last but not least, we are the largest software as a service company, enterprise company in the crypto business. And of course, in this business, size matters. So let's double click on the data. Why do we say that we have the best data set? And how do we do to collect all this information? Well, of course, we start from the data that are publicly available on all the main blockchains. Then we enrich this data, of course, applying models and the algorithms, but it's not only that, because we don't have a probabilistic approach. We make sure that we have a deterministic approach, thanks to more than 50 world-class researchers and investigators that make sure that the information that you will find in our solutions is actually accurate, and you can really rely on this data. And on top of that, we combine other sources of information, making sure that we can really have the largest data set in this business. And we receive more than 500 million signals, and we screen around 10.5 trillion of value. All this makes, of course, the largest and the more reliable data set in this industry. The second point is about the network. We have more than 1,000 global customers. To be fair, this number keeps going up. It's hard to keep up. I saw the data 2 days ago, and only in Q3, we closed around 200 new customers, so this number is for sure not up to date. But what is important is that we have customers across all the main players and stakeholders in this industry. We have customers in the financial institutions. We have customers in the fintech. We have customers in the crypto natives. More in general, we collaborate in the private sector, and we analyze every month around 200 billion worth of transactions. But at the same time, we also work with regulators. We work with government entities. We have trained more than 5,000 investigators worldwide, and we make sure that we can really have a holistic approach to the market, and we can connect dots, and we can support and help the whole industry. As I said, we are the only company that's been here since the very beginning, since the MTGOX case, and you will see a lot of different famous cases. We have been there helping with our data, with our solutions, and with our skills and talents, all our customers, and we have collaborated in these years to seize almost $9 billion of value of crypto assets that were stolen. Lastly, well, of course, super important as well, we are, at this point, the largest enterprise SaaS company in the world. We operate in more than, in 70 countries. We were discussing over breakfast that sometimes we get lost how many countries we have operations, and I can guarantee you that we have 70 countries where we are at the moment operating. We are incorporated in New York, where is our global headquarters, but we are opening regional offices pretty much everywhere. They are popping up the more we grow, the more we invest to make sure that we are close to our customers and our partners, and we are there to help you and support you. We are making sure that we invest in all the different talents that are required to help you in your business. And we have more than 850 employees. Once again, this number, I'm not sure that is correct. When I joined a year ago, we were 400 people. I've learned that we will land by the end of the year around 1,000. The most important thing that we keep investing to make sure that we will be there for you to make sure that this industry can thrive. And we have a 8.6 billion valuation in the market. So this is what our customers think about us. There's never better than have our customers to advocate on our behalf. This is just an example, but I hope that I create some appetite about what we do and what we can do. Not too much appetite and to leave the room and go for lunch. But if you want to learn more and know more, stay in the room. My colleagues will have a workshop where they walk you through in details of what we do and what you can do with our solutions and the data and platforms. But these are a few pointers. If you want to know more, please visit our website or our blog or our the link regarding the major trends that are happening in the market. And if you want to get in touch, that is our email address if you want to schedule a demo or something more specific. I hope that this was useful. I hope that, again, I've created a little bit of interest and curiosity and appetite to know more. Thank you so much. I will be around, and I hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.